Hey guys, want to update you a little bit on my portfolio. This is this is on Simply Safe Dividends, and I have both my portfolios on here right now. I like this. It's a pretty cool website. You can just put your stocks in there and tells you a lot of information about the stocks you own, the dividends when they're due, all that. It's pretty expensive. I just have the free version right now. It expires in a few days, and I'm really considering getting the yearly version, but it's like $400 a year, so it's a lot. It's quite a bit of money for this website, but I'm thinking about it. Right now, just kind of give you an idea. That's my projected dividend income right there at the top, 83.78. That's my rough stock balance. I don't have anything. I don't have a position on, or almost a full position on, or building a full position on. I don't have on these stock lists. So if I just have a few stocks of a company, I don't have it. I don't have it here in my portfolio. It's just or in my Simply Safe dividend portfolio. But if I get a full position, or I'm about to get a full position, I'll add it here. And so that kind of gives you an idea where that money is at 124,952, and it's kind of off between my two portfolios because I do have about $7,500 in borrowed money on my Robinhood, so it's not a large percentage, but I am using their borrowed money where I can get up to so much. I think it's actually free. I'm not sure they even charge me any interest on it. But I have about $7,500 of money on loan there in my Robinhood, and none on my Charles Schwab. So these are my holdings right now. I think I've gone over most of these last time. If not, this might be updated here. These, I'll move it into the situation where the dividends are the highest, and of course ET stock's way down. The dividend is being paid. I just received last week a really healthy dividend check on my ET, all my shares of that. I have too much of ET, and I'm looking to eventually lower my position in ET down to a lower amount. But right now I'm trying to hold it, collect those dividends, and collect those weekly cover call premiums on ET. Startwood Capital, this is a new position for me. It is a REIT, and it's a very well-known REIT. REITs right now are mostly down about 50%, just like kind of pipeline oil stocks like ETs are. They're probably even down further because people are worried about rents and all that. I just own one position as Starwood. Actually, I don't even have a full position yet, but I should have it completed by the end of the week. And that's Starwood. As I add more money. AG&C, I just have one position, and AGC Capital, and I rotated some money out of a different type of capital stock to get the AG&C, and it is a weekly option covered call stock, and so that's a big reason why I picked up AG&C. BP, I just have one position again. This is in my Robinhood, and it is paying its dividend, and I believe I just collected it recently. ARCC, Ares Capital, another capital company. It's highly rated capital company stock. I will say this: the AG&Cs, the Starwoods, the ETs, a lot of these. Obviously, if you look at the dividend, these are not long term. Probably buy and hold stocks. Really trying to collect the dividend and the honestly, I don't really mind owning 3 or 4 positions of stocks like this. I just don't want my whole portfolio full of them, and so that's why I Ares, another one. Most of these are under $20, these stocks, and they definitely are the riskier stocks. Obviously, you can tell by the dividend. And EPD is a pipeline company, and it's the prices are going back up on that stock very quickly, and I just own one position of it. Ulterior Group, you can see it's where it's paying 8.9, and I own one position of that. SDIV, I own one position. It is a monthly covered call option stock, and it obviously has a healthy dividend, and it's an ETF, obviously. Main Street Capital, I have one position of that. It pays monthly about $20.50 for my one position, 20 cents a stock per stock per month. Chevron, yeah, another hopefully, I'm sorry, that's Exxon, my bad. And it pays 7.8, and that is paying its dividend. I'm really trying to weed out the companies that are lowered their dividend or not paying their dividend. And that just shows you when things start going south, what these companies are going to do. They're going to bail out of their dividend, and I don't want to really be holding those companies. So something's really got to say good things for AG&C, Ares Capital, for Main Street. Even though their dividend numbers have jumped way up, that they're paying percentage-wise, but they've held their dividend through this downturn, and it may not stay that way. But right now, it's looking like most likely it's going to stay that way. And the companies that I'm bailing out of are the ones before the dirt's even settled, they drop their dividend. So the first week, their stock price dropped. The middle of a little of a downturn or a crisis, they drop their dividend. So those are not the companies I want to invest in. If I'm going to invest in risky stocks, I want to invest in crappy stocks. I want to invest in good crappy stocks, not ones that are going to just turn around and drop their dividend as soon as they see any type of a problem in the future or in the market. Dow Chemical, I own 2 shares of that, one in each portfolio. PBA, I have 1 position. It's another pipeline company. I have too much storage and pipeline companies. AT&T, I have 3 positions. Kinder Morgan, another storage. Yeah, I have too much pipeline storage. Storage and pipeline. A lot of it's fuel, natural gas, things like that. Those seem to be doing better than the oil stocks directly. PPL, which is a power company, and I own 1 position. SPHD ETF, dividend ETF, and you can see it right there. It is paying a little less than 6%. MetLife insurance company, I own 2 positions. Hewlett Packard I own 1 position, and that's a weekly covered call. Option stock, Viacom, I own 3 positions right now. Southern, I own 1 position. Power company, energy. AIG, I own 2 positions. UGI, I own 1 position. HPQ, I own 1 position. You can see the dividends there to the right. We're getting down to the 4s. Pfizer, I own 4 positions. Coca-Cola, 1 position. Okay, NRZ. So this is one I'm cutting now, and I've had about 600 shares of NRZ, and some of them I bought when they were down around $4 or $5, and some I think I owned prior. But I'm down to just 1 position. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to roll this over, this stock that dropped its dividend from 9% to 2.86%. It was even lower before this. It was a little higher before the stock went up. But I am going to roll this out into a company ETF, SRET, so it's a REIT. And instead of owning 1 crappy company that's going to drop their dividend first chance anything goes south, I'm going to own 100 crappy companies and an ETF that when the stocks go south, that at least I've got a chance where half of them are going to keep paying their dividend. I'm not stuck into 1 crappy ETF. I'd have my stock basically pushed over 100 different companies, and so I'm diverse into many crappy ETF companies and not just 1. So that's my theory on that, and I'm probably doing that on Monday, rolling out of that NRZ to that SRET, and I have some of that and a few shares of both of that on both of my platforms of SRET. So I'm just going to pick 1 platform, and probably in my Charles Schwab, because that's where this NRZ is. TNA, I own 2 positions of this, and this is a directional ETF. It's a weighted, 3 times weighted, and it's a small cap, so mostly the Russell 2000 type of companies. And this is not these are not buy and hold stocks. These weighted 3 times stocks. These are directional stocks. When you feel like the stock market is strongly headed in one direction, which I do feel about small caps, that they're beaten down pretty good. And over time, I think that can go back up to where it was. That stock was around $75 pre-market crash in March. So I believe it's going to go back up. And in the meantime, that is a very healthy weekly covered call selling stock. And same with UPRO, both of those. And that's the reason I own them. And UPRO is the S&P 500 triple weighted pro shares, and TNA is directional, is the company that has that. These are both ETFs, obviously. GM. So I have one position. Again, soon as literally like within the first couple week or so of this epidemic or pandemic, they cut their dividend to zero. And so, and there's the only auto stock I still own. I bought it way high before the pandemic, and I was trying to rotate out of my crappy stocks to a more safe stocks, and I missed here on GM, obviously. So I'm down on this probably from the $40 mark. But I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to sell out because I really don't want to own stocks that aren't paying dividends unless I bought them that way, meaning I planned on purchasing a stock that was beaten way down that's going to go up and the dividends are going to come back. So I'm going to roll this to another position of AT&T, and so I'll be able to get most of that position with that money. I'm going to do that on Monday as well, and so that would give me 4 positions in AT&T, and with a dividend-paying stock that I could sell weekly cover calls on. And so those are that's roughly so here we look roughly at my this is my projected annual income just off dividends. This does not include my options. So let's be clear what I do, and this is what I believe is the best money for me to make income off of my portfolio, and is to buy dividend stocks that have the weekly option covered calls on them. So covered call weekly options on those stocks. And so that's what I do. And so I have to find those stocks, and it's not easy. A lot of stock, and they got to be affordable because I got to own a full position on them. So I can't really afford. I don't have enough money to really go buy a full position on something like Johnson & Johnson. That's $12,000, and so that'd be a huge part of my portfolio. And one day I want to own those type of companies that are weekly option stocks. But right now I don't. I do like some of my companies like Pfizer, AT&T, Exxon, Southern. Those are all MetLife, AIG. Those are all good companies. They've been around for a long time. They've been paying dividends for a long time. And so here, real quick, it's just kind of showing you where my dividends are. That's what I love about this. This is really cool about this website, is it tells me when my next dividend's up, what day. So you can see right there, I have this PhD, $15, and that's a monthly, I believe, a monthly ETF payment of $15.54. Pfizer, June 5th, I got $152 dividend being paid. Southern on June 8th, $64. Agency is a monthly, $12. ExxonMobil, $87, due on June 10th. June 12th, MetLife, so MET, and I have 200 shares. It's got $92, due on June 12th. Dow Chemical, $1,400, due on June 12th, and I have 200 shares. Main Street, I just have one position, 100 shares, $20.50 as the monthly Main Street Capital dividend payment. PBA, I think this is actually, yes, I believe, June 15th. That might be I don't know. That looks like it might be a monthly payment on the 1506. BP, I got $62 on the 19th. And then we go up to June 29th, and I got AIG at $64. Ares Capital, $40 on the 30th. And then Coca-Cola is due on June 1st, $41. HP due on the 1st, 1762. And then PPL, so that must have been PBA, the other one, I'm sorry. PPL 41.50 on the first, a lot of them on the first. UGI $33 on the first. Viacom CBS $96 on the first. Hewlett Packard HPE $12 on the first. And then right now, some of these dividends haven't been announced, so they'll be. So as you go farther along, it's not quite filled out as well. But Altieri Group was on the 10th, and Main Street again is on the 15th. So you kind of get that's about a little over $1,000 that's due to me in the next. That would be the next 5 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, and so I'm pretty happy with that. You can see that my dividend, scheduled dividend per month here gives you an idea, and these numbers are going to change as I move my portfolio around on Monday, and it should have my dividend numbers should raise. You can see I have that 1 month, the May, August, November. It is going up as time goes by a little bit. Gives you quite an idea of, and I believe the dividend income is only about a third of my portfolio, of my income source on my portfolio. The other 65-66% or more is going to come from me selling option covered calls on my stock positions. And so right there with that, I believe I could take that number, that 8,378, $8,378, and turn that into twice of that is off my income, off my weekly covered call positions. So around $25,000 a year, I believe I could create off my $125,000 portfolio. And my goal here is to keep increasing that and reinvesting that until I can get to a point, and I plan on doing this within a year, to get up to around $200,000 in my portfolio. 200 to 225 would be a good number. And honestly, at that point, I'm looking to move overseas and to live off of not only my income off of my my portfolio, but I own a few rental properties, and I have 4 units, so I'll be able to get income off of those as well. And I do have I wouldn't say a large retirement account, but I do have a sizable retirement account. And obviously I'm going to wait to, I'm not old enough to get that yet. Probably after I turn 60, I will, I'm 51, so I'll give you an idea of my age. I'm 51 years old, so after I turn 60, I would have more access to that money. And then obviously I would have as well as Social Security when I'm 62. So I feel pretty comfortable, like I'd be fine. And I do plan on living in a cheaper third world country like Central America, Southeast Asia, and probably moving throughout the year. Maybe spend 6 months in one and 6 months in the other, or maybe in a month back in America is kind of my idea right now is. So, and that could change, obviously, if you meet the right person and you're at the right place. So that kind of is my goal. So my goal is to get my portfolio up to $200,000 by next summer. So it'll be next June 2021, and to take that income, and I believe if I have over $200,000, I should be able to create about $40,000 a year in income off of my dividends and my weekly covered calls. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, guys. So that's just an update where I'm at right now, and hopefully I'll update a few more times this week, and I might be on my Robinhood account, or I haven't showed you my Charles Schwab account, so maybe we'll do that. We'll see. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.